ponytails and girls, must put an end to the stress and strife. I think I want to live the sporty life. Good time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mastering the Event-Led Growth Playbook. My name is Camille White-Stern. I am the Director of Experiential Marketing here at Splash, and I am absolutely thrilled to welcome you to what I consider a very timely and important discussion about event-led growth. So, everyone seems to be talking about their event strategy for 2024, and honestly, with good reason. In today's saturated market, merely doing events is no longer enough. The evolution of the event-led growth playbook has transformed how B2B companies approach their go-to-market strategies. So when executed strategically, events can be powerful drivers of revenue, connection, trust, and of course, engagement. Today, we're going to delve deep into crafting an event-led growth playbook designed to drive revenue and foster meaningful connections in the modern business landscape. Okay, quickly before we get into the good stuff, we always run through a few housekeeping items, especially because we have some first-timers in the audience, I believe. So if that is you, welcome. Let us know in the chat if this is your first Splash event. At Splash, we support leading enterprise organizations across the globe in their efforts to unlock event-led growth. With an easy-to-use platform that helps you simplify your processes, amplify your brand's identity, and of course, measure your results to better reach and better serve your audiences. Whatever the case is, we're helping marketers grow their business through events at scale, whether they're in person, online, or hybrid. Splash completely powers the end-to-end attendee journey for an event. This means for today's event specifically, the registration page that you RSVP'd on, all of the pre-event reminder emails you received, and the virtual experience in Splash Studio right now are all a part of our all-in-one event marketing platform. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. But you can think of this as a real-time Splash Studio demo. You've already experienced Splash's registration and design capabilities just to get to this point. We hope you love them. One of my favorite parts of the tool is arguably the fact that once this live event concludes, our platform will power an on-demand experience, which means whether or not you or any attendee joins us live today, this session is recorded, yes, and registrants get access to this event whenever and wherever they want. So if you're interested in learning more about the Splash platform, feel free to sign up for a one-on-one demo with our team. Join a bi-weekly Meet Splash. It's a 30-minute product overview event. Yes, also hosted in Splash. Or you can sign up for a free account and test the waters for yourself. Super easy. Come on in. The waters are warm. I think you'll love it. Okay. Now that you know a little bit more about our mission here at Splash, let's make sure you're familiar with our interactive tools for today. On the right-hand side, you'll see we've got our chat, Q&A, some polls. You'll see we've already launched a poll today, so go ahead and vote on that. And be on the lookout for a few more. We're going to sprinkle them into the conversation to help us drive this discussion. And honestly, these polls are an excellent way for us to gauge what is resonating with you, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Okay, if you have questions related to what we cover, please feel free to submit them through the Q&A tab. Other attendees can upvote questions they're interested in hearing the answers to as well, which is great. And let's not forget about the event chat. We've already got it super active. Let's light it up even more. We'll go with an easy prompt for today. What are you feeling grateful for this year? Heading into the season of giving and saying thanks, I want to start off by dropping some love in the chat for what you're just really grateful for and thankful for right now. I will start. This is an easy one for me. We just met in person, the marketing team offsite last week, and it was incredible. I mean, talk about proving the power of events, especially in-person events. It was incredible, and I'm just so grateful for my team. So let's see what we've got in the chat. Christina's feeling grateful for family. Me too, always. Patrick said health. Julie said friends and family. Ella said my dogs. Same. I am literally obsessed with my dog. Taylor just started a new job. Congrats, Taylor. That is epic. Would love to know where you're at, what you're doing, how we can support you as a community. This is great. I love to see it. Keep the chat on fire. Okay. One final housekeeping item. I promise it's actually just really more of an announcement, especially for our first timers in the audience. We love a community raffle. So what could you win today? You could win a $50 Visa gift card to help you take care. Take care is one of our core values here at Splash, and we absolutely walk the walk. We don't just talk the talk. So here's how you can enter to win. We're going to drop a link to a LinkedIn post in our event chat right now. All you need to do is like it, leave a comment on it with your thoughts, and you'll be entered to win. It's just that simple. Okay, we've gotten through our important housekeeping items. Now let's get into why you're here and tuned in with us today. To understand how to master an event-led growth playbook. Now, I hate to be, if this is disappointing, I apologize. It is just me today steering the ship. But I actually think that's an opportunity for us. Please, please, please ask all the questions. Consider this a live brain pick, if you will, and let's get down in the chat and just make this an engaging conversation between all of us. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to start the conversation today by defining event-led growth. What we're talking about is a holistic go-to-market strategy that uses events as the primary customer acquisition and retention channel. In today's landscape, when traditional outbound and standard inbound motions aren't cutting it, event-led growth has emerged as the most powerful growth lever for authentic connection, engagement, acquisition, and of course, retention for modern go-to-market teams. And while events are certainly not a new tactic, when we say event-led growth, we're talking about creating scalable event programs that drive real value for your stakeholders and ultimately growth for your business. And this manifests as much more than your one-off event or annual trade show activation. Imagine being able to foster authentic connections, establish deep trust, and inspire meaningful engagement with your buyers year-round. With an event-led growth motion, this becomes possible. So let's set our baseline here and debunk the myth that marketing events are just another large expense. The reality is that events, plural, can be the highest performing channel across each phase of the buyer's journey. There's truly no better way to gain brand awareness, build trust, or engage your audience. Events allow you to create an owned audience for your brand and create a relationship with lasting value far beyond a digital ad or ebook download could provide the end user. And depending on your strategy, you can deliver value in a variety of customized ways to maximize that impact. So yes, I'm talking about leveraging AI for events to unlock deeper personalization and engagement before, during, and after an event. And even layering in ABM into your event strategy to take what you're doing for your one-to-many audience and translate that for your one-to-few and one-to-one audiences. So what other factors are at play here? Why is event-led growth thriving as a go-to-market motion? It's because, to point out what may be obvious, the buyer has completely changed over the last 5 years. What may be less obvious is the fact that on average, there are 30 required touch points along the buying journey. This number is up from 17 touch points in 2019, and this rapid change doesn't seem to be slowing down. So how can go-to-market teams effectively craft a meaningful journey with 30 plus touch points that actually influences buyers? Brands need new tactics to meet their buyers on their terms and where they are now. because buyers today are more empowered than ever to do product research independently for the most part. In fact, the majority of buyers don't even want to speak to someone about a sale until they're ready to buy and make that connection. When we add in the rise of AI tools and technology to source information, buyers really have all the information they need to make an informed decision, hypothetically, at their fingertips. It's one of the reasons why they want to remain anonymous until they don't, of course. And when they're no longer anonymous, they expect the conversation to be incredibly personalized and highly valuable. Technology isn't the only aspect impacting buying behavior, though. The power of dark social is very real, and buyers today, more than ever before, trust more in their peer group or community recommendations. Sure, verified customer reviews online are great and an incredibly important aspect to generating social proof. But imagine if you could get real customers to tell your real prospects how much they love your product or services firsthand through a scaled event program. And what if you could extract the best sound bites from those events and then pump that micro content to your target audience across all of your marketing channels? That's just one example of how an event-led growth motion is more tailored to the modern B2B buying behaviors we're seeing today than traditional go-to-market strategies. And it better positions you to serve the full revenue funnel. So let's dive into exactly why event-led growth is key to enabling your buyer to move through that funnel faster. Okay, let's get real for a second. Old school marketers hear B2B events and think that means sponsoring booths at a conference. But that mindset and strategy is totally outdated. It doesn't reflect how modern buyers want to be engaged with. So we like to think about it in 3 buckets that fuel the revenue funnel: events that create demand, events that capture demand, and events that retain, renew, and expand demand. Let's dive a little bit deeper into each of these buckets and unpack how events can turn leads into champions at scale. So if we think about the top of the revenue funnel, events help us attract the right buyers and create demand in your market. These events are where you share your thought leadership. You help educate your target market on the problem. Then you repurpose that event content and share it across channels to fuel your other go-to-market efforts. I'll share some examples of events that are really effective at creating demand at the top of the funnel in a moment. Before I do, let's continue on here. Beyond creating demand, when we think about the middle of the funnel, events are a powerful way to capture demand. At this stage of the funnel, leveraging events are an effective way to introduce and teach your audience about the solutions to their problems, new ways of thinking, and typically this includes highlighting your brand's unique solutions. By doing this, you help your audience upskill and unlock new levels of success. And this positions your brand as a trusted thought leader and solutions partner. Not only that, you can connect the audience to each other and foster community, further fueling your dark social content strategy. Events in this phase are really about creating deep relationships between your go-to-market teams and the buying committee, rooted in education, entertainment, and of course, value. And honestly, what could be more impactful to the buying journey than that? And if that's not enough to justify an event-led growth strategy, of course, once you've gained a new customer, events are absolutely critical to retain, renew, and expand your customer base. Events solidify the core elements of partnership with your buyer. That human connection cannot be replaced and is nearly impossible to replicate through other channels, even with the most sophisticated AI tools. Events optimize the use of your tools and services, allowing your customers and partners to get better results. And they can create genuine affinity that makes your champions want to evangelize to others. We've all likely experienced or witnessed aspects of these outcomes. But the difference is night and day when you go from simply doing an event to implementing an event led growth playbook and actually unlocking a powerful scaled marketing channel. Here's how we think about our marketing mix at Splash and how many of our customers talk through event led growth through the traditional funnel. Large scale third party events like conferences and trade shows, coupled with webinars and virtual events, which can have massive audience reach, serve in the top of the funnel for brand awareness. The catch here is that these events are only effective if you're delivering true subject matter expertise and thought leadership. You need to demonstrate a deep understanding of your market and target audience with experiences and content that break through the noise. At Splash, we're seeing average webinar attendance rate over 70% and 1,000 plus registrants, really proving that if you deliver the value, they will come. We see more solution-based and product-led events at the middle of the funnel, both in person and virtual, and the latter of which can be incredibly cost-effective and efficient. Here's where your audience will expect you to deliver best practices and dive deep into the use cases you support. It's really not enough anymore to just show off your product. A canned demo won't work. Use these kinds of event programs to showcase how your products and services allow your audience to achieve both personal success and generate revenue for their business. People want to get better at their job or progress in their career and get actionable frameworks they can use. And then at the bottom of the funnel, we're seeing more curated and targeted in-person events perform incredibly well. What's working here is investing heavily into experiential with a focus on building community, because at the end of the day, let's be real, B2B buyers still want B2C experiences. Before I move on, I see an important question in the chat from Christina. And Daniel Jacobs beat me to the punch in defining those acronyms for me. But yes, TOFU stands for top of funnel, MOFU stands for middle of funnel, and BOFU bottom of funnel. So this is just a helpful lens and framework to think about how you're creating events and events programs that, as I said, really serve the full revenue funnel. And thanks, Dan, for chiming in there. Okay, so let's dive deep into third-party led events and their role in your event-led growth strategy. More and more marketing teams are thankfully getting off the old lead gen and MQL hamster wheel. But this doesn't mean that brands don't need to drive awareness and engage prospects at the top of the funnel who are earlier on in their evaluation process, right? Yes, we know that modern buyers want 95% of their journey to be self-guided, but that doesn't mean we don't need meaningful touch points early on in that journey. This is where investments in annual trade shows and conferences come in. And I'm not talking about the stale conferences of yesteryear with the crappy coffee and the boring keynote and the lackluster trade show floor. No, today's third-party events are not what they used to be. Many of them are morphing into epic, multi-day mega events that resemble B2C festivals more than anything else. And that means how you show up needs to stand out beyond a traditional booth sponsorship. Modern go-to-market leaders are developing thoughtful conference and trade show strategies that leverage cross-functional execution in a tiered approach. This means events with the highest concentration and attendance of your ICP warrant a bigger presence and larger investment. It has to go beyond the booth. This also means marketing, collaborating with product, sales, CX, and partnership teams to extract more value from these investments. A tiered one investment could include hosting brand-owned events like a VIP dinner that brings prospects and customers together, while simultaneously maximizing your nearbound efforts by co-marketing a happy hour with key partners. And your sponsored speaking slot that your booth came with doesn't have to be your only chance to get your thought leadership out there. If you invest in a dedicated meeting or lounge space, you can use that venue to host your own micro events, an industry meetup, breakfast with a panel discussion, or even a workshop. These are just a few examples of how to amplify your brand's presence at a conference and connect more meaningfully with your prospects beyond scanning their badge at your booth or handing out swag. We know that 84% of deals are won by the company or seller who reaches the buyer first. Astonishing. This means now more than ever, when remote and distributed workforces have impacted when and how we're able to connect IRL with our buyers, not to mention email and other channels are totally saturated, you need to meet the buyer where they are with brand activations that stand out from your competitors. And don't forget that third-party events are a convenient way to engage and ultimately renew and expand your customer base too. So we see a spike in brand awareness and pre-pipeline generation from your collection of activations at these annual large tentpole events. That's the booth, the happy hour, the lounge with the partner, plus your boots on the ground. But the once a year brand summit, while an important part of the marketing mix, is really not enough to bring the modern buyer all the way through the demand journey. Today's buyer expects a bespoke experience in exchange for their time. And let's be real, that's a tall order for the annual conference with thousands of other attendees. Spending the big budgets here can have excellent business outcomes, it's true. But if you're doing a large scale event for 3 days out of the year, what is your buyer doing for the other 362 days a year? You need to drive connection, value, trust, engagement, and learning in order to impact pipeline. And if annual trade shows perform well in your strategy, you already have a target audience that is well positioned for an event-led growth motion. So this is where having a holistic event-led growth strategy becomes critical. Depending on where they are on their journey, your prospects and customers will have vastly different needs. A one-size-fits-all flagship event is not a silver bullet for meeting a range of buyer expectations. You need a set of event programs, repeatable, scalable events that allow you to nurture your buyers on their journey to becoming brand champions. Okay. Investing in large annual events is a great place to start, but it really only scratches the surface of possible ROI from a full-blown event-led growth strategy. There's so much more added benefit when you consider how webinars and virtual events can really fuel the rest of your marketing mix. What's great about these types of events is how they allow us to work more efficiently. And who's not trying to do that these days? The best video clips, quotes, and learnings from these authentic experiences can be repurposed across all your marketing channels. This content further drives your dark social content strategy so you can meet the modern buyer where they are, not just IRL, but through the platforms and channels where they spend most of their time. This is how you get your audience to feel motivated to share your brand's content with peers in their online communities and forward to teammates online and Slack, via email and Slack. It's really powerful stuff. And this goes back to my earlier point about delivering value. The more we can generate positive momentum, that means brand awareness, et cetera, through these dark social efforts or through our nearbound efforts by offering real value to prospects and customers and partners, the more we ensure the success of other revenue generating types of events, like the bespoke hyper-local IRL event or roadshow, which is another highly effective way to deploy an event-led growth motion. But what about business value? These are some of the results we see from our event programs at Splash. Really proud to share these. From our Magic Spark VIP dinner program and Splash Circle customer programs, we're seeing an average 70+% attendance rate across events. We see a 10% increase in win rate, in some segments as high as a 20% increase. We're seeing fewer days to close, which means pipeline moving faster and increased sales velocity. Our sales team loves that. And we're not just winning deals faster. New business ACV is 18% higher compared to deals not influenced by these programs. ACV is average contract value. And of course, we're seeing a massive increase in product usage with our customers and free users who attend events. When it comes to our clients who are seasoned in event-led growth, and in some cases, they're executing up to 600 events a month. 600 events a month. Wild. They're reporting in, of course, more pipeline from the events channel, increased revenue from global event programs, 10x ROI from attendees versus non-attendees. I'm so sorry. Let's a little louder for the folks in the back. I said 10x ROI from attendees versus non-attendees. That is huge. They're also seeing increased product adoption, the ability to go from one event a day to 8 per day globally, and coordinating events across 50 plus global offices. It's always astonishing and really inspiring to hear some of these stats. So hopefully we've made the case for an event-led growth strategy, and you're all here to master your own event-led growth playbook. But how do you get started? Where do you begin to dial up your investments? Which event types are the most efficient revenue growth drivers? And how do we go from one-off events to investing in programs? What's the path to scale? I'm not going to lie, there's a lot to unpack here. But the very first step is parsing out your business objectives and being incredibly clear about the metrics you're aiming to influence. This is not only how you'll get buy-in from leadership and finance on your strategy, this will determine how you'll measure and define success. So it's really important to be clear about this. So how do you get that clarity? Well, I'd ask, let's get our animations there. I think it looks like we've got a little delay on our slide. There we go. Okay, first I would ask, what are you discussing and or hearing from your counterpoints across revenue leadership? What are the biggest challenges your revenue organization is facing? This goes beyond the marketing team. Events are not just a marketing tactic. They are a go-to-market vehicle. So I want you to pause and really think about and try to answer this question for yourself. What are your most pressing business objectives? I'd urge you to think about this quarter, next quarter, and of course, the next 12 months. We need to think long-term here. And it's possible that there are competing priorities and challenges spanning from increasing brand awareness and driving demand creation to winning deals at a faster rate or with a higher ACV, or even renewing and expanding your customer base. For example, let's say one of your organization's business goals this year is to increase ARR by 30% over last year. With that in mind, the goal for your entire event strategy might be to drive X amount of net revenue retention, meet an X% win rate, or generate X dollars of closed won business across all events. Then, based on data from, historical data from past events and projections, you can begin to assign a percentage of that high-level goal to individual event programs. I'm going to pause here because I want to acknowledge we could go super, super deep into the weeds here on goal setting. And we actually have a 2-part workshop series designed to help you track, measure, and visualize event performance. It's called Reactive to Proactive, and we'll drop the on-demand links for those workshops in the chat for anyone interested in diving deeper into goal setting or even building your own event ROI calculator. But ultimately, many of us are working to generate pipeline and push slowly moving or stuck ops through the funnel faster. So, what's the next step in building your playbook? You really need to make sure you have a defined audience. This might seem obvious, but whatever your business objective is will absolutely influence the answer to this next question. Who is your target audience and where are they on their buying journey? Let's go back and think about that business objective you just had in mind. Maybe you had a few objectives in mind. Are you going to meet those goals by reaching net new prospects, potential customers who already have engaged with you in some way, or an existing customer? Maybe it's a mix. Important PSA here. This is usually where I see goal setting start to go off the rails. What you don't want to do is attempt to create one event program that you think will serve every segment of your audience or meet every single business objective. That is just not realistic and it will set you up for failure. We'll dig into why in a moment. But once you've defined your target audience and the audience segments you're aiming to engage, you can move on to the next step, which is developing your program or programs, plural. If you're starting from one-off events, what you'll need to do here is look back at your event KPIs from your one-off events. Did you meet or exceed your goals from that event? Ideally, you'll identify your most successful one-off events, tie that event success back to revenue in a measurable way, and then make the case for repeating that event. And voila, you've essentially got yourself a proposal for a scaled event program. If you're at the point where you have 1, 2, or even 3 event programs that you're looking to scale, or if you're beyond that point and you have some scale, but you're ready to take your efforts and your results to the next level, this next step is really where you'll want to focus as a starting point. The fourth foundational step to implementing an event-led growth playbook is actually ongoing. No matter how elementary or sophisticated your event strategy is, you must develop the muscles, aka processes, to track, measure, analyze, and report on the performance of your event programs. At the end of the day, going back to that need to get buy-in from leadership and finance, if you can clearly show for each dollar spent on your event program what that return on investment will be, you are putting yourself in a very strong position to get your event-led growth strategy approved and properly funded. Of course, that requires factoring in the hard costs for an event into your ROI calculation so you can also measure efficiency of your revenue generating event programs. So these are the 4 key building blocks of an event-led growth strategy and playbook. Recently, our CMO, Kate Hammett, sat down with Gainsight's absolute rock star of a director of field and partner marketing, Emily Wilkes, to have Emily break down Gainsight's approach to event-led growth and her marketing team's contribution to revenue from their field events. Spoiler alert, they've got a winning roadshow formula and playbook that is truly chef's kiss, incredible, pun intended, and you'll see why in a moment. In their fireside chat, Emily shared details on Gainsight's current field marketing programs and how it's not uncommon for her team to achieve $10 million in pipeline from just one of their roadshows. Epic, to say the least. I always get fired up when I hear about our customers reaching new heights of success with the help of Splash. But when asked what her advice was for other marketers looking to get started and adopt a similar playbook for their organization, Emily stressed the importance of creating simple, scalable event programs that don't get too complicated. In their case, this translates to events that are RSVP only and free. For one of Gainsight's roadshows, the Eras Tour, where they took their VIPs to a suite at a Taylor Swift concert, epic. The venues changed, but the content and event marketing and invite processes stayed the same. This meant it was super easy for Emily's team to rinse and repeat. With their next incredibly successful roadshow, their Chef's Kiss tour, a traveling culinary experience. Everything logistically stayed the same, including the venue. Making this minor tweak, keeping the venue the same, meant Emily's team was able to add a few more stops to their tour, going from 14 events to 17 events within the same time frame and requiring even less work. And now Emily's team is plotting how to scale their next roadshow to 25 stops in Q1 of 2024. I mean, talk about leveling up and getting to that gold medal status of event-led growth. This is what we mean by scaled event programs fueling revenue growth and expansion. This is what's possible through event-led growth. So let's hear from Emily herself. We're going to play a clip from Kate and Emily's fireside chat, and then I'll come back on to take some questions.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to dig into your playbook a bit and get you to share how you've been able to achieve your own impressive results at Gainsight. How are you doing today?
Good. This is so fun. I was just looking in the chat. There's so many great people here. I think we have all events. It's been a rough couple of years, right? We're on the other side though. So I feel like we're up and to the right. We've hit bottom. It can't get worse than 2020 and all of the virtual events that we all did, but now live events are back. So I can't wait to talk about them.
I love it. I know. I always say that, event marketers, event people, we are truly the tip of the spear when it's happening in, just like 2020, it happens at the start with events and how we're interacting with our market. So we've definitely been through quite a bit, but I'm excited to talk about up and to the right because I agree that's where we're heading.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Emily, I'd love to hear briefly about your field marketing programs and how they work in concert with your counterparts at Gainsight. So the folks who are running the conference and trade show aspects and the webinar strategies, I imagine there's a lot that goes into aligning each of these strategies and programs. And I'm curious if you can comment just briefly on how these event types are all deployed at Gainsight to kind of give us a level set.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. We do a lot of quarterly planning, as probably most folks here. We plan out by quarters. I have two counterparts. So I run our field marketing team, which if you think about are the more bespoke events and the things that you talked about, and we'll dig into a bit more. I have a counterpart who is our director of corporate events and another counterpart who is our director of demand gen. So going back to your funnel, how you were bringing up the different various stages of the funnel, our director of corp events, she focuses on that awareness bucket at the top of the funnel. And so she's thinking long-term and planning 6 months, 12 months, 18 months out on our trade shows, our conferences, our product launches, our sponsorships, the large things that, those big marquee events. And then our director of demand gen, in addition to a gazillion other things he's managing, he owns the webinars. So the three of us come together every quarter and we usually work together on themes, goals, metrics, KPIs, and sort of take it from there and sort of, plan out each function. My team specifically with field marketing, while we do dabble in some of that awareness at the top with some maybe networking events, the majority of what we do kind of falls into the consideration bucket. The decision bucket, where we have like the sales acceleration events, the exec dinners, the road shows, the VIP events, the incentive programs. That's where we see a lot of my team spends their time, and that's where we see a lot of the ROI.
I love that. Can you paint us a picture of your current field and partner marketing programs at Gainsight? Give us like a super quick breakdown on how your team successfully deploys bespoke hyper-local events.
Yeah, great. So thinking back to that funnel of, awareness, consideration, decision, retention, we're thinking about who are we marketing to at what stage of the funnel. So with the field marketing programs, a big focus this year has been on road shows with decreased travel budgets and folks not being able to travel to conferences. By us bringing our events to them where they live, our events are generally free, whereas, with conferences and trade shows and things, there's usually a paid ticket value there. So we're focusing on lots of dinners, exec dinners, bespoke experiences. We sponsored a Taylor Swift suite, for example. We brought a bunch of super VIP folks to see Taylor Swift on her Eras tour. And then, like I said, we've done these multiple road shows. And what's great about the road shows is they're super, like you said, hyper local. We're bringing the content to the folks where they live. And we're seeing some really great results there that we can probably dig a little bit more into.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more if you are willing to share just what results you've seen, what's been important, in your goal setting, and how it turned out on the other side. I mean, I imagine 100% close rate off of, a Taylor Swift Eras tour.
Yeah, that was a good one. Those don't happen often, but in terms of what we're trying to achieve with these programs and how we're looking at ROI, they are surprise and delight events. They are the bespoke events, but what we're looking at is pipeline attributed, so pipeline production that we're creating and influence pipeline. So with the road shows, and there's 2 of them that we did. So we did a Q1 roadshow we were calling the Eras Roadshow, which is a fun acronym, not only to correspond with Taylor Swift, but expansion, retention, adoption, scale. So it was a fun acronym. We went to 14 cities all over the globe, and we have a secret sauce for these roadshows where there's content, there's a little bit of thought leadership, we have customers, we have special guests, but we also have fun. Childlike joy is one of our values at Gainsight. So we had lots of fun activations at these roadshows. So folks are coming, they're getting something, like you said, they want to meet new people, they're looking for a job, they're trying to hire folks. They come to these roadshows to meet people in their local geo that they can connect with, learn something, and do something fun. So that's the theme for the road show. And whether it's the Eras one that we did in Q1 or in Q3, we did one called the Chef's Kiss Tour, which circles back to your comment about how do we plan. That was sort of a theme for the quarter for us. So our demand gen team was working on webinars that were called the Chef's Kiss. We had the Chef's Kiss Roadshow. So everything sort of tied together, and those were cooking classes and lunches that we did all over the country. We did 6 globally, actually. We did 16 of those. And so with those, it was a similar playbook, is that folks were coming at lunchtime to get something, lunch, cooking lesson. We were making pasta, meet new folks, network. We had raffles, we had giveaway, we had really high-end swag like aprons and cutting boards. And so that was bringing lots of folks together to do something fun. And then they leave there remembering Gainsight, having that moment. Our sales reps are making connections. It's all about nurturing our community of whether they're customers or prospective customers. We're helping the sales team really deepen and build relationships.
I love that. Tell me a little bit about the guest list and like the curation of the Chef's Kiss Tour as an example. What's the collaboration like with your team across the organization at Gainsight to get the right people in the room?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is what everyone struggles with. It's a lot of pulling reports. It's a lot of scraping data from various sources. And we use Splash has been one of our secret sauces, basically. We pull the lists from everywhere. We pull from Salesforce, we pull from LinkedIn, we pull from all variety of sources. We work with the sales team to create nominations for events. We build those lists, and then we create the landing pages. And one of the cool things I will say, if you're thinking about scaling or doing road shows, one of the things we found to be just a huge part of our roadshow success is Splash's hub feature. So we built these awesome landing pages for each individual city, but then we tied it to a larger master hub site. And what was cool is if we didn't know specifically where someone lived, like we think you live in Boston, we think you live in Chicago, but we're not sure, instead of sending them a link saying, hey, you're invited to this Boston event or you're invited to this Chicago event, we send them this hub link that has a master landing page that links all of our 16 or all of our 14 events, and they can go and find the city that is where they want to attend. Maybe they're traveling to LA and they want to go there, or they live in Boston. So that was just one of the easiest things that we did to scale these road shows. And then using Splash to send out all of the invites, the reminders, the confirmations, using it to check in. It was just such a seamless, really easy process for our team so that we could just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Awesome. Well, I love to hear that we're a part of your secret sauce. But
yeah,
I think
we couldn't do it without you. So thanks for being a great partner.
Of course. Likewise. So in parting, I would love to get your advice for teams looking to go from one-off events into scaled programs. As a pro, like, how do you get started? If you could share, some of your seasoned advice with our audience.
Yeah, I think it's just all about simplifying. Get the secret sauce for your organization that works. For us, we rely on our values. A lot of our values are Shoshin, which means like beginner's mind, and success for all. So success for all of our customers is success for us, and childlike joy. So we bring all those values, and when we're thinking about designing an event, so that we're showcasing customers like to buy from companies that they like to do business with and do good. So highlight those things. If you have great company values, showcase those in your events. Simplify, find a tool or a partner that makes things easy for you. For us, it's Splash is one of the tools that helps us sort of rinse and repeat. That's been super great. And market your programs. Market. We always say marketing. So market to the sales team, market to sales leadership. Make sure you're sharing the results. That's one of the things too that I think as you share results and show what these programs are doing to help sales sell more, it's going to really help sales buy in, and you're going to get more support across your organization that's going to allow you to do more and more and more, get more budget, get more headcount, get more bandwidth, things like that. Our first quarter roadshow, we had 400 attendees. We had about $20 million in influenced ARR, 300 AQLs, 40 SQLs, which is an opportunity. We had similar results in Q3. So like for us talking about event-led growth, I'm constantly sharing those metrics with our leadership and with the sales organization. 50% of our attributed pipeline last quarter came from our events. So and that's in the new business segment. So I would just recommend scaling, keeping it simple, and just marketing yourself to all of the other organizations so that they support you, and then you can just grow and scale.
I love it. The marketing is truly, truly secret sauce. I think without that like team revenue lift, I'm with you. I feel like events are so much more powerful when you get the entire revenue team, CX, sales, involved, and then being able to, showcase your wins, which obviously, Emily, you have many to showcase. I'm seeing the wow in the chat. So definitely an incredible resource and event-led growth pioneer here. But we, really appreciate you sharing your journey and your advice with us.
Yeah, and I'll try to answer a few of these questions in the chat too, if we before we wrap, if we have time to. I can send some messages.
Yeah, and we'll definitely follow up if we can't get to all of these. But I know there was a question about accountability on sales and how to get the right attendees to attend. Any kind of sales and marketing alignment secret sauce there you want to share?
It's a tough one. I think everyone struggles with this. This is the magic solution. We haven't solved it completely, but we do, our marketing team, part of the reason we are successful and can scale and can do so many is we take on a lot of that ourselves. So we pull the list, we work with sales, we send everything on behalf of sales, whether it's through Splash or through outreach or whatever. We're taking all that legwork and just partnering with our friends, but not relying on them as much. And that's helped us quite a bit. It's a lot of work, but it does help you rinse and repeat for sure.
Definitely. I think we do a Slack integration to kind of align our sales team. So everybody kind of knows who's registering and what account it is, and, connect that. So it's really helpful for us.
Yeah. Yeah, keep your friends in sales informed, but maybe don't always rely on them is maybe the strategy for some organizations.
Yep, that's fair. Well, I think we're at time. Emily, thank you so much.
All right. Well, hopefully that was as inspiring for you as it was for me to just hear how, as Emily, taking her words, how she is concocting their secret sauce of success at Gainsight. I want to take a few minutes before we close out here to address some of the questions that we've had submitted. And thank you to folks who did submit great questions. The first question I want to answer is from Kelly, who asked, salespeople just want networking receptions. How do you wrangle that with the desire for marketing to create content from events that will last beyond the day of the reception? First of all, Kelly, fabulous question. I think I'm there are a few themes that are bubbling up for me as I kind of think about how I want to answer this. The first theme we just heard Kate and Emily speak to a little bit. Sounds like there is a maybe marketing sales misalignment of expectations, potentially misalignment around goals and objectives. But I would first start by kind of thinking through for yourself, where are the possible road bumps in our sales and marketing alignment path right now when you're taking new event programs and launching them internally, obviously externally as well. So that's kind of like one thing. It's like, what is your marketing and sales alignment vibe like today? The second thing that's coming to mind for me is, I'm sort of when I read through the lines here of your question, I'm interpreting it as you kind of thinking, well, if we're going to do more events that help us generate content and fuel other marketing channels, how can we still make, do we have to invest all in that? And does that mean no more networking receptions for sales? And I would just say, no, that I would say more event programs. Keep your networking receptions if those are working well, right? Especially if you're seeing positive ROI, if your sales team is able to generate opportunities, or win deals from these networking receptions that you're hosting, keep doing them. I would say add to that success and start a webinar event program, or start a roadshow, an in-person roadshow where you can capture some content from those in-person events and then distribute them across other channels. I think going back to my first point of like alignment, and how do you get buy-in from your sales team when you're launching a new event program that maybe they're not used to participating in or supporting or leveraging in their outbound motion? I think you could take a page out of Emily's book where you are kind of executing part of the strategy on their behalf, whether that's pulling lists for them, sending the invites, curating the rooms, and then just asking your sales team to show up. Even if it's a small in-person event, I guarantee you your sales team will probably find value from that and be really grateful that you've invested in that. I hope that answers your question a little bit. This is, I think, an evergreen topic. Like, how do you get sales to, be fully bought into your marketing programs and support your event programs? So if you want to chat more about this, I'm happy to do that. We can do a one-on-one live if you want, or we could even do a community huddle on this topic. If I see this question was upvoted by 7 other people. So seems like you're not alone in that, Kelly. The next question I want to, let me just check the chat. Let me see if Kelly's in here. Well, we've got a note from one of my favorite people at Splash, who's on our sales team, Michael Bindleglass. And this is a shout out that I'll just say, Camille makes it easy for the sales team here by providing us templates in outreach. True. That marry invitations with jumpstarting sales conversations. Really good point. And I think that's even what Emily from Gainsight was talking about, how sometimes they'll do the the literal outreach through the outreach tool on behalf of their sales team. But like I said, Kelly, if you want to jam more on this, I truly am game. So let me know. The next question I want to address was from, I actually forget who submitted this in the chat, but it says, how might the revenue ROI conversation work if you have a long, sometimes very long sales cycle? Oh, this is from Julianne. Ooh, Julianne, I feel you. That's rough. I think it doesn't, how does the ROI conversation work? My thoughts are you need to re-educate your team internally on what the reporting, what the reporting cadence and process and structure looks like for you. So I'll share what we do at Splash, but we developed this reporting structure based on our typical close rates, our sales cycle, right? So we do immediately post-event within 24 hours, usually preferably within hours of that event concluding. Then we do a 1 week, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. That's kind of our initial window of measurement. But then we go back periodically, at least quarterly, and then, at the 6-month mark and at the annual mark. Obviously, right now, I've already done all of my look back reporting for the last 12 months as I'm going into conversations with my leadership team to, get my proposals and budgets for 2024 approved. So the process, I don't think should shift too much for you, Julianne. I think it's the timeline or time frame of your measurement window. And so I would say, ask for the opportunity to experiment with a different window of ROI measurement. And maybe you need a 6 to 9 month window where you're really actively tracking and measuring success. As I said, we kind of, after the 90-day mark, we'll kind of be like, okay, we've got our initial performance snapshots from this event. It's not that we're never looking back at the performance for that event after that 90-day period ends, but it's just not as frequent as within the first 90 days. So maybe you need to reconsider that for your organization. And again, happy to chat about that more with you if you have kind of follow-up questions on how to navigate that. The last question I'll ask really quick is, or answer, let's see, we've got like 2 minutes. Are you seeing webinar/Zoom fatigue? This is from Zoe. Not to brag, but no, we are not seeing webinar or Zoom fatigue. I think this webinar is a great example. We had over 1,000 registrants. Had no guest speaker locked in. It's just me. And I think, going back to my earlier point, if you are delivering legitimate value through your content, through your webinars, your audience is not going to be fatigued. They will keep coming again and again and again. Even if you see a drop off in live webinar attendance, don't worry, you will make that up in the on-demand promotion. So we see that too sometimes. Sometimes for the live event, we'll see 40% show up for the live event, but then over the next week or so or two, we get up to that 70 plus attendance rate. So it's really about having stellar content. Again, Zoe, if you want to chat more about that and you need a sounding board for your next webinar strategy, let me know. I defined the dark social media strategy. I responded to your question in the Q&A tab. I'll just say really quickly for Ella, how often do you host webinars? We do a lot. We have a monthly top of funnel webinar, at least monthly. And then we have more middle of the funnel, product-led, product-focused webinars. We have a bi-weekly Meet Splash. We have a Build It and They Will Come event series. It's like a workshop series. We have our New in Splash webinar series. We've got a bunch, too many to count, to be honest. And we're a small and mighty team. So if you're wondering if you can accomplish this for your organization with a small and mighty team, the answer is yes, you can. Folks, we are at time. I am so sorry. I hate to cut this short, but join me in the Slack community where we can continue this conversation together and I can continue answering questions for you. I think I just must say, if you are not utilizing the event-led growth motion to drive revenue, I really strongly encourage you to join the movement with us. Reach out to me, reach out to the Splash team and connect, join our community, and find that secret sauce for your business. Okay, we are really past time for today. So I just want to quickly announce our social raffle winner. I've got to say a major congratulations to, oh my gosh, Morgan Hall from the Channel Company. Congratulations, Morgan. Thank you for participating in our social raffle. And we will be in touch to get you your $50 Visa gift card. Okay, folks. On behalf of the entire Splash team, thank you so much for joining me today. We live for creating opportunities for marketers like you to learn with us and your fellow event marketing peers. If you found today's event valuable, please, please, please let us know. I didn't mention this, but one of our key metrics for success is our attendee NPS. So let us know if you enjoyed this. We'll drop a link to a feedback survey in the event chat now. It'll also be in your post-event email, so fret not. Last but not least, if you are interested in learning more about the Splash tool and how you can unlock event-led growth at your organization, like Emily from Gainsight, let us know. As I said, you can schedule a one-on-one demo with us or join us for our next Meet Splash webinar. We absolutely appreciate you spending your time with us today, folks. It's been a pleasure for me. Thank you so much for hanging out. And until next time, take care.